Hello and welcome to a demonstration of our spring break assignment. As I look over the assignment, we are looking at creating a model based on the specifications here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we can see them a little bit better. And you will see that we're just creating a rectangular prism here. And the dimensions are all recorded in the drawing, right? We have a height of 4.5 inches. And then we have, from the top, we can see a length of 0.75 and a depth of 0.25. So as you are building your plank, you can basically make, as long as you're using these dimensions, you will come out with this particular shape and model. So let's go ahead and create that in Onshape, and then we'll go ahead and look at creating these two assemblies using that model. And of course, we're going to submit them with our name etched into the part. So it's a pretty quick assignment. I think once you get started, you'll realize, oh, this is not too different from other things we've done before. So I'm going to call mine Spring Break Assignment Ms. Ayala. Okay. I'll put it in my classwork folder. And here I go. So I'm going to start with a sketch on the front plane. And as I look at it from the front, I'm going to start by making a rectangle. I think I'll start by making this shape right here. So let me get the rectangle tool. I'm going to mine onto the origin. I made my rectangle. The dimensions I need are all recorded here. I'm going to go for the 0.75. Oh, look, it's asking me for the height first. So the height is going to be 4.5. 4.5. And then this width here is going to be 0.75, right? I missed it. Here's my depth tool here. Using my dimension tool, I'm going for 0.75. Okay, so if I kind of zoom out a little bit, this looks quite like what I have here. I'm going to accept my sketch and I'm going to do an extrude. So from here, I will extrude my new sketch, and the depth is going to be equal to this dimension that we haven't used yet, 0.25. Okay. So that pretty much looks like what we have here. It's oriented slightly differently. As long as you come up with a shape that it has these dimensions, it could be in any orientation, that will be fine. It's going to work for your assembly. So let's go ahead and add our name, because you of course want your name on your work in the end. So I'm going to make a sketch on our new shape. I'm going to look at it from the front and use the text tool to just quickly, it's such a small space, I'm going to do my initials. You can do your initials too if you want. So I've got a little space here. Go point. This is overall 0.75, right? We'll go 0.05 on this side. And I'll make the overall size something like 0.6. And then the distance from the top of the figure to the top here should be, I'll just make that 2 inches. Okay, and I need to extrude, of course. Let's extrude the initials, that new sketch with a remove. So the depth of this rectangular prism is only 0.25, so I want to remove less than that. I think I'll go for 0.1. And there we go. So now that we have this particular model done, we are going to move on to making an assembly. In my initial project here, there's already a tab for an assembly, which is great. I can use that for my first assembly. So as I look at the first assembly, I see it uses 4 planks, right? So let's go ahead and insert 4 of these by clicking 4 times. And then I can accept. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And I'm just going to kind of line my pieces up so they're not all one on top of one another. And I'll take the first one, bring it down near the origin, and think about how am I going to set up my first piece. I think I'll do this one that's underneath these other 2. First, I need to kind of lay it flat. So I'm going to turn it this way, 90 degrees. That looks good. That looks like what I see in this drawing, so I'm going to go ahead and keep that. I think I'm going to put it right on the origin, and I'm going to fix it. Okay, next. Remove my pieces. These pieces are the ones I'm not going to use right now. I'm going to use this right now. And I need to figure out how to lay it this way. So I'm going to think of using these circles at the ends of the arrows to adjust the orientation of the plank. Let's start with moving it this way by about 90 degrees. And then I think we're going to have to move this way by 90 degrees as well. So this looks like the orientation that we need. We just need to join them now. I'm going to kind of put things close to where they should be. I'll get the fastened mate tool, and we're going to first hover over the plank that will be on the bottom. And as I hover over this face, I'm going to hold down the shift key and find the corner mate, which we're going to try to meet up with the corner, the bottom corner of this piece. So let's turn our perspective until we can see from this plank from underneath. As I again hover over the bottom face, I'm going to hold down the shift key, and then I'm going to click on the corner that should connect with the corner of the other plank. So that looks good. If you're wondering how I chose which corners to click, I'm really just aiming for areas that I know should be connected. So if I chose this corner of my upper plank, it doesn't really have a good spot to meet up with on the lower plank. So the fact that this corner is touching the corner of the other plank made that the logical choice for me. So now let's try to do a very similar move to connect. I'm going to go ahead and connect this piece underneath the plank that we just added. So we'll pull another plank out. We're going to rotate it so that it's in the right position. So I'm going to turn this, I'm going to type in this time 90 degrees. That orientation looks fine to me. Now it's just a question of getting it in place. I want it to actually be underneath. And in order to do that, I'm going to click once on the plank. So I get my tripod manipulator. And I'm going to use the arrow this time. We've been using the circle next to the arrow a lot to change the orientation. But in order to change the position, I need an arrow. I'm going to use that to move down. I'm moving this piece underneath the plank that should be lying over this new plank. So now that we have done that, let's use and just to show you, you can really see that this is underneath that. Now it's lower than it was before. Okay, we need the Fasten Mate tool. We're going to hover over the top face of our third plank. We're going to hold the Shift key. And then we're going to grab, again, this corner. That's going to connect with another corner on the top plank. Let me see, let's turn so we can see it better. So we are going to hover over this bottom face of the plank. And again, just to show you why I hold down that Shift key, we want to join with the bottom of the plank. We don't want to kind of accidentally grab onto the side of the plank. And each of these corners, could actually join you to the side of the plank facing left, the side of the plank facing away from us, the side of the plank facing down. So when I'm going for a corner like this, in order to ensure that I'm getting the side of the plank facing down, I'm going to hover over that bottom of the plank, hold down the Shift key, and now I grab the corner. I click on the corner, and my planks should be lined up. Let's see. That looks good to me. Let's accept that. And we just have one more to do. So let's take this plank. We are again going to use the tripod manipulator. I'm going to first turn things this way by 90 degrees. I'll type in the 90. And then I need to rotate another 90 degrees so that things are lined up. I'm going to slide this piece in this direction and a bit in this direction and just a little bit up so that we can see what we're doing. Okay, so we have the fourth plank in the orientation and close position to where we want it to be. Let's use our Fasten Mate to join the bottom of this corner to the top of this corner. They'll meet just so. I'm going to hover over the top of the plank, hold down the Shift key, and grab the corner that should meet up with the corner of the fourth plank. All right, now that we can see the bottom side of that fourth plank, I'm hovering over the bottom face. I'm going to hold down the Shift key, and I'm going to click on the corner that should meet up with the corner of the third plank right here. And let's see how that looks. I think we're in good shape. Let's accept that change. So this assembly looks quite a lot like this assembly. I think the only difference is the color. We did not think of that before. At least I didn't. We could go back, take our part, and choose to edit the appearance and just update the color. I think this way it looks a little bit more like wood. And as I think you guys know, we could also assign it to be a type of wood. And you'll see your assembly is updated as well. So your first screenshot will be of the first assembly. We're going to go ahead and think about the second assembly now. We are going to make kind of an arch. We'll use the plus sign here to add an assembly. And now in assembly 2, we are going to insert 1, 2, 3. We need 3 planks. 1, 2, 3. Great. We're going to kind of work one at a time here. I can zoom out a little bit. And I think I'll start by just orienting my plank. Looks like I need to turn it by about 90 degrees. Okay, I like to place a plank over the origin. That's this dot here. And I'm going to use fix to fix it in place. Here's, I think I'll use this plank as the one that's parallel, also supporting the top plank. And I'll just do the same thing and rotate 90 degrees again. And I'll set up this plank to be on top. 90 degrees, and then, whoops, that's too much. 90 degrees. I'm going to use one of the arrows to move the plank up and over. Great. So now let's use our fasten mate to get everything joined. So one interesting point to think about is in this particular assembly, unlike our last assembly, we have several points that we could join. For example, we have the top corner here joining up with another corner here. We have a corner here joining up with another corner here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we can see better. And when you're trying to join these pieces, you even see a mate at the center of each of the edges. So you could even join probably the center of this edge to the center of this edge here, which I think I'm going to try. So let's use our fasten mate. We want to join this face, the top of this face here. I'll zoom in a little bit, with the bottom of the face of this, the bottom face here. So I'm going to hover over the face, this top face here. I'm going to hold down my shift key, and I'm going to go to the center of this edge that should be meeting up with the top plank. I'm going to click on the center, and then I'm going to turn my perspective so that I can see the bottom of the plank that will be resting on top. Now that I'm hovering on the bottom plank, I'm going to hold down the shift key, and I'm going to find this halfway point along the edge here that's going to be connecting with the plank underneath. So here's the halfway point. If I click there, I think we're joined really nicely. Great. And we're basically going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to find, as I hover over the face of the bottom plank, I'm going to hold down the shift key, and I'm going to click on the center of the edge that's going to meet up with the top plank. I'm going to zoom out, turn my perspective. I need to get my perspective to a point. Whoops, I think I clicked on an edge by accident. Let's try this again. Fasten mate. I'll start with this one first this time. I'm hovering over or under the bottom face. I'm going to hold down the shift key. I'm going to click on this halfway point on the edge that's going to meet up with the other plank. And now I'm going to shift my perspective. Oh, I did it again. I have to watch where I click. Let's do this. So I'm grabbing that halfway point. And I think this looks good. So once you have your second assembly done, make sure your name is visible on one or more of the planks, and go ahead and take a screenshot. You should be submitting a screenshot of two things, the first assembly and the second assembly. Don't worry about taking a screenshot of the part because your part is in all the assemblies, so it will show up. All right, good luck with the project. I hope you had a great spring break.